There should be something on the
There's
screen.
nothing on the screen.
There should be us on the screen.
Scared me.
Your hiccup scared you? Word a
Oh
scary
my.
hiccup?
Let's see. Alright, we should be good now. And yeah, we're here. Hello, Cosmic. What's going
Shalom,
on?
Cosmic. How has your day been? You do any Dave the Diver smashing Godzilla?
Oh, Dave the Diver's pretty cool.
Ooh.
I like Dave. Dave the Diver's a good game. Alright, let's go this way. Turned off my PlayStation.
Turn it off. Burn it. Burn it.
Well, it's like a nuclear reactor. It heats up the entire room.
Yeah, I know. When you throw in a computer and a modern console, those puppies put off some heat.
Yep, and screens too. There's no. It's just a heat sink, and then the heat evaporates off the screen. All right, so we're here to talk about Gen 7 games and what the pulse is with Gen 7. Um, I've I've been looking over basically a lot of like the games and stuff like that and like what's going on. OAS has been, looking over a lot of the games too and everything, and we've just been really collaborating on what like 360 PS3 is that retro? Is that not retro? What's going on? To me it just makes no sense of like everything that's going on right now.
But the
So
prices
him and I
of
are in the works. Hmm?
the games is what's going kind of crazy. But it's not all of them. That's what there's so many games out there that just aren't going to be super expensive because in this generation, I think more so than any other, like they seem to be a lot more willing to like, okay, let's make another version of this game because you had platinum hits and then some of them you had different more than one run of platinum hits and then you had the compilations that came out for later consoles. So I just like seventh gen is like I think the high point of gaming because you had most of the stuff physically. There was a little bit of digital mixed in, and so not too much. Everything didn't have DLC. You didn't always have an update, and but you had internet play. You had a lot of the modern conveniences, and towards the end of their lifespans, you had some really nice looking games without the hassle that we've had with the Xbox One, PS4, 5, and the Series consoles.
It's it's unexpected, Cosmic, because I wasn't expecting any of this to happen. Here I am going along, and I'm like, oh, this is not bad. We're not we're really not doing much with the. I mean, PS3 is it? And like Oaz and I collect a lot, so we're always looking at everything. We're always trying to figure stuff out. And apparently, Xbox 360 is really hot. So
It is.
it's
Sorry,
like
Baron.
it's one of the hotter consoles right now. And I know, like, we're going to be talking about all of this and getting into game prices and game stuff and all this other game, whatever it is. And, I know most of you aren't exactly into that, but, you know, yeah, you're right. You're 100% Cosmic. And I know most of you are not into that. It's more just,
Yep.
hey, throw the games on an EMU and just like play them, RA stuff and everything else. But Oaz and I came, we were like, hey, listen, we play the games on Friday night. We're gonna start to bring back the collector's corner to talk about stuff. We're gonna, do like a pulse
Oh,
check and
we need to rebrand it too.
hmm?
I need to update that so it says Collector's
Yeah,
Showcase because we don't need another CNC. Music Factory.
Oh wow, I think they were on today on one of the channels on Sirius XM. But yeah, so we're gonna try to move forward, throw a podcast out there, do all the stuff, YouTube it, and everything, and move forward with a lot of this, because him and I are like, we got a lot of time invested in this as well. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. But if you guys want to chime in and just because PlayStation 3, I think a lot of people um know PS3 and know Xbox 360, and you know a lot of the games. Um, I know I've spoken to Baron about Puppeteer, Atelier as well. So there's been a lot of talk with that type, like just conversing back and forth about these games and such. So that's why him and I were, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about this. So you want to take it on the 360 side?
Well, I think before going into that, we need to touch on just some of the general trend that is happening. Is there's some of the more sought after games and games that are, I guess, more on the rare side. They seem to be doing a bit of an uptick in price for, it's just the time for the 360 and the PS3 and the 7th gen stuff. I don't know if the Wii is going to experience the same kind of draw, but it looks. So let me share my display over here. Hopefully I can get it so that it shows a decent amount. So hopefully you can see the graph pretty well up there. Oh, you know what? Let's expand that a bit. All right. So this is the Wii. So, and actually I looked, and all of them, like the summertime of 2017, they all hit low spots. So average price for Wii is $653. This is the PlayStation 3, $8.78, August of 2017. What did that one? There it goes. August of 2017, $748 for the Xbox 360. So all three of those consoles hit their low point at the same time. They hit it in August. For whatever reason, August of 2017, give or take a month or two, because you can see this big dip right here. They were hitting their low point. And after 2017,
I guess that was when the PlayStation 4 came out.
Was it 2018 when the 4 and the Xbox One came out? I don't know.
DW, you should pay attention. This is definitely
The
your
fraternal
stuff.
trends.
No.
Yeah, no. But they've been on a slow increase since then. I mean, you hit 2020, and they each got a little bit of a bump. COVID restrictions and all that, but they've been on the increase for average and median ever since then. And that's for the Wii. Same thing for the PlayStation 3, and same thing for the Xbox. They just have been on a steady, slow increase since then, but all three of them have just been going up in price a little bit. And you can see overall, like, none of them have a huge jump in here. Not like these drops back here where they're just, and especially like that to that. A couple dollars difference. I mean, between 2017, $758 for complete or for the average, and $11.74. So $4. That's better than interest on most things that, or not interest, inflation on most things. Pretty active playing disc golf, and when I was home, I was playing Magic together with friends. About the only game I played in this gen was Rock Band. Everyone played Rock Band.
Everybody
Guitar
knows.
Hero.
Everybody knows Rock Band. Like everyone knows Rock Band.
Yep, everyone, Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I mean, there were places that were doing tournaments for those games. I don't know if
Yep.
they sold any systems, but that certainly sold some accessories and some games.
So when the PS3 came out, it was backwards compatible with
The
um
PS3 Fat. If it had the four
yeah,
plugs on the
PS3
front
Fat,
USB, it was backwards compatible.
right. And it was backwards compatible the PS3. So there's a place to stick cards in, like SD cards and stuff, and then if you're lucky enough you have the reader. I have the reader for the PS2, PS1 memory cards. So all my memory cards are backed up on the PlayStation 3. Um, I got it. I think it was 2 months after it came out, and it wasn't that bad of a system. It was kind of reasonably priced. Uh, but as you went through and like you progressively went through PS3, it the games were all right. I found myself playing more PS2 games than I did finding myself playing PS3.
But is that more because
And
of
a lot of people
nostalgia
were
or
like
something else?
360 was better.
Thing is, they really they had a lot of the same games. I did something. I was looking at it. So the first. So let's look at the first. Okay, Bloodstone, 007, 007, 007, FIFA. You go to 360, Bloodstone Legends, 007, 007, FIFA. Start off, they have the exact same games. They had a lot
Quantum.
of stuff. Quantum of
So
Solace. But see, and that's the thing. This generation, they were making multiple versions of it. Look at you have three different versions of Quantum of Solace.
but
So I
that's
never played it.
insane.
I'm not sure I've played any of them very much since GoldenEye on the N64.
I Now you bring that up, I go on price sharing, I don't even see that for PS3 at all.
Which
I
one?
I know Quantum.
Quantum of
I
Solace
I
is right
don't
here
see
for PS3. This is PS3.
that's that's the PS3 edition.
Yep. Let's see. I mean,
Which
the
one
Wii
is the
even had
t-shirt
double oh
bundle
007,
on
but
though?
see, look, it doesn't go to. There's a lot more stuff going. There you have 2010 FIFA.
I think I'm gonna be picking up 10-minute solution right there. Um, jeez, a DW, I would do it now. A lot of now here's one of them. Look up wet. That's now I was talking to you about this one. What if there's a game that you guys want to actually play to pick up, no, if you have a PS3, but if you want to
Where's
look it up on Steam, if it's on Steam, Bundle, wherever you guys are looking to pick up like games and you want to play newer gen games like this, even if it's on like let's say Game Pass or whatever, this game is solid. This game was a game that kind of put Bethesda forward and said, "Okay, we're gonna make a game like this." And Bethesda made this, um, and this was a huge hit. Uh, Run and gun, Samurai Girl. People went crazy. Look at that! Oh boy, jeez, what is that? That incline.
that? Complete inbox from January of this year, $24 up to $79.
Jeez, that is stupid. I had the foresight to buy this game back in 2019 because I thought I always wanted this game, and I played it as a demo. I was like, "Oh, this is nice,"
So you played it
and
before. You wanted to pick it up and actually play through it. So
yeah, and I picked it up in 2019. Yeah, for I think it was $16 when
10,
GameStop
15,
was having
20
a
bucks
sale.
somewhere around there. Now it's. But see, if you hadn't opened it, it'd be worth $107. So good job. You just lost a bunch of
It
money.
was it was used.
Yeah. Well, you missed out. You should have bought it and never opened it and done anything with it and never enjoyed playing the game, and you would have had it'd have been worth more money. Because it's all about the money, right?
The sealed coffins,
No.
plastic coffins. What? I can't find it for PS3. Oh, here it is. It's wow, what a difference that is. Jeez, PlayStation 3 is $34 and
But is that
Xbox
complete or
is
loose?
80 complete. 80 and 38. It's like a $50 difference.
Hold on.
That's
Loose, it's how much?
loose. PlayStation 3 is 19. Xbox is 34
Yeah.
and PlayStation 3 used complete CIB is 34 and it for the 360 is $80. And it's going up. It's going up for
It,
PlayStation 3, I could see.
so, but the thing is, I think even though the 360 sold really well, I don't think they made as many games for the system as they did for PS3. Because Sony, they won with the PS1, they won with the PS2, and so I think they expected more sales on the Sony side. And people seem to just discount the Xbox 360.
Well, we're really screwed the Xbox 360. Before I bought, well, no, I bought the PlayStation 3 because it was backwards compatible with the 1 and with the 2. And because of having a diverse collection with PS1 games, I got it to play PS1 games over uh what was it, over HDMI. Thought it was great. So, what I did was um I bought an Xbox 360 because we all did LAN parties for Halo. And it was great. We would play Halo. I had an Xbox. I bought the Xbox 360, brand new. Took it out of the box, turned it on, had it for maybe about a week, and then I got the Red Ring of Death. Wanted
Oh,
to return it. I was SOL. Tried to go, back again. I did the whole wrapping it in the towel thing.
I'm guessing
I
this
did
is this
everything
all. You got the Red Ring before Micro said, "Yeah, there's a problem. You can send them in, and we'll refurbish them."
exactly. Yes, yes.
So the Red Ring of Death definitely hurt them. I didn't get a 360 until they had come out with the second version. Uh, a buddy gave me his original Xbox, and I played that for several months, and then got it modded so that I could play backups. And
Oh
then
wow.
Sam's Club had a good deal on a 360 bundle. I think it came with Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Forza Motorsports or something. Which, let's see, it was this version. So it had Forza and Ultimate Alliance, and I mean, great game. And look at complete in box. It's not expensive. It's gone up a little bit, but see, I think it kills me with the games is people are so worried about missing out on getting some of these games when they're cheap. It's like just focus on the games that you actually want to
You
play
want
and that you can get at a
Forza's
decent
amazing.
price.
There's one game for the PS3. It was a code only game, and the code has expired. And the game went up to it was about excuse me, $152, $100, whatever it was. Marvel versus Capcom something, Marvel, whatever the hell. I mean, whatever the verses are. And now it dropped because people were like, "Oh, wait a minute, this code doesn't work." And we're buying games that don't have a physical copy of it. It's a code that's out of date.
Code
So
you
they
can't
just want the
use,
box.
and a code that was probably already used before they even sold it to you. So that was people obviously not doing their homework and not realizing what they were buying, which was just a piece of paper. That's it. They're
It's true.
maybe it was a more sturdy piece of paper, but it's still just a piece of paper.
Just to let everyone know, like I was telling Oz, I didn't catch the I didn't have time to analyze and piece together the whole 2020 to 2023 game price craze that was going on. Um, like I was cleaning out my parents' house and I was picking, I was getting all my games, my Genesis stuff and everything like that. I was really just setting up stuff at the time. I had started streaming on Scanlines and whatever it is, but I didn't have time to map the whole progression out and see how everything went. And it kind of it's like a whole the way I view it's kind of like a whole deep dive into a forensic scene where you're trying to piece together the entire soup to nuts process of how this is going up, um what's going on with it, where the games are, what systems are compared, and it actually is kind of interesting. Like I know you guys would be like, oh, I don't collect, and oh, whatever, and it just even looking at the facts behind it and seeing how things progress, it really super interesting. I mean, not even from like, looking at it from a collector standpoint, just how does this all work? Like where does this come in with games and this, and it really, like, for example, um there's one game, like I said to Oz yesterday, The Simpsons. I was looking at just normal, BS games here, there, whatever, and I looked up and one of the games was The Simpsons game. And I looked up PlayStation 3. And right now, like for PlayStation 3, it's going for $52 complete. I don't know how much it is on Xbox 360. I don't know if it's even on Xbox 360. Yeah, Catherine's another one. And it just the Simpsons game just it's going up, like really up. In the past like 2 months, it's gone up from $40 to $52. Oh yeah,
So
64.
64 bucks
Jeez, look at
on
that.
on the 360
That is
complete in box.
ludicrous.
See, I think the 360 is kind of hitting the same thing that the GameCube did the last couple years, where it wasn't as popular as the other systems of the time, so it got overlooked somewhat. And now all of a sudden that you have this big group of people who are all of a sudden focusing in on 360, including all of the people that grew up with it now. Because if you think about it, see, it doesn't say when it was released, but it's over 20 years ago, and now they've got disposable income and they have all these memories. This is what these people have nostalgia for. So now they're looking back and trying to collect like we did with the 8 and 16-bit stuff over the last few years. And so the target has moved from 8 and 16-bit, so was that third and fourth generation, to the fifth generation, to the sixth generation. Now it's on to the seventh generation of consoles. So the 360, the Wii, and the PS3.
I want I want GameCube to crash. I want GameCube. I want that,
I don't
like
think any
the
of them are going to
real.
crash. I don't think any of them are going to crash. They'll start a downward trend, maybe, but I don't think any of them are going to crash. You're not going to go back to 2015 or 2017 or 2019 levels soon.
Probably within, I would say the next year and a half.
I don't think they're going to drop that much. I think the interest is still there for enough of them that it's going to keep. Like I said, it'll decline. I mean, there'll be the big games like, yeah, this game's $1,000. Well, it might only be $500 or $600 in the next 2 or 3 years. But the thing is, because it's so high, it doesn't take much for it to drop a bunch, percentage wise. I mean, because if you have a $20 game and it
I think
drops
go.
10%, it's $2. If you have a $200 and it drops
think go
10%, it's $20. So it can drop the same
like we.
percentage, but it looks like it took a
Mhm.
bigger drop.
when we were talking the little games, like the ones that you have that were 50, $60 that caught the hype, that caught the rise and everything, those are going to start. You're going to see those dropping and those starting to come down a lot more, which is going to bring down your average price of what the games really are. I've noticed PS2, like the craziest thing is I avidly collect PS2. Um and I noticed the Shin Megami Tensei games for PS2, they have gone down in price. PS2's somewhat going down in price. PS1, when I spoke to my friend who owns the retro store, he said to me PS1 completely tanked. He had to pull all his PS1 inventory and fix all his PS1 inventory because it just completely tanked.
But the thing is, that's it's just basic economics, supply and demand. You know, the supply is fixed at this point. There's whatever number there is out in the wild, but then demand goes up and down. So the supply is what it is. Pretty much, just think of it as a straight line. But if the demand goes up, well, the supply is still the same, so it's going to drive the price up. But if demand goes down, supply is still the same, the price is going to drop.
Here's something that's
Let's see.
interesting. If you look
Here's
up a game
GameCube.
called hmm?
It
Yeah,
started dipping some 3580 November of last year down to, it doesn't want to go any further than 3490, but you can see there it is. Okay, March $33.52 from 3580. So the average price of games have already dropped for the GameCube. So it's it's gonna happen, but it's gonna be slow and gradual. It's not gonna be the big jump we got in 2020. It's gonna look more like this, but in the opposite direction. And I think
probably.
one thing we're gonna see though is, particularly with specific games, is that as the price drops down, it's gonna start entering in, like, the demand for it at this price is gonna be what it is. But when it drops down and hits that price or gets below it, then all of a sudden these people are gonna start buying it, and so it's gonna cause it to curve back up a little bit. And so it's just gonna sit here and do this little funky,
Up
you
and
know,
down.
up and down, not quite a sine wave, because it's not going to stay consistent. It's going to slowly trend down, I think, for the most part, and then it'll probably reach a point where it is almost like a sine wave, and it's just staying at the same point, just jumping back up and down, back and forth. Because eventually it'll hit a price where it's like anyone who wants will say, oh yeah, here, let me go ahead and grab it. Now, is that going to happen with Pokemon Box in
Probably
relation to
not.
the GameCube? Probably not. Maybe it drops 20-30%
No
in
way.
price, but then it does that little zigzag and doesn't actually go anywhere. Feels like you're at a board meeting. Well, the thing is, it's what people like. People complain about it so much. All right, I'm gonna get on a soapbox here, because people complain so much about resellers and what people are selling stuff for. And
Oh no.
my thing is, resellers and sellers in this market, they don't really set the price. I mean, they can throw something out there for a price, yes. But if nobody buys it, what are they going to do? They're going to lower the price if they're actually trying to sell it. If it doesn't sell, they'll lower the price eventually. Or they'll hold on to it in the hopes that it goes back up. But it's because of the collectors and the people that want to play the games and who are willing to pay absurd prices that we're at where we are for retro collecting and games. They've put this value on this thing. Okay, maybe there's a game that you had when you were a kid and you have all these fun memories, and you're not Tyler from My Retro Life, and have all of this footage of your dad and the games and stuff, which has this very special connection to these games. But like, there's some games I have a connection with special memories, but I don't think it'd make me be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out and pay 100, 200, 300, 500, $1,000 for this game because I want it complete in box, because it's happened in the past. I don't associate that much actual value with the games themselves. People do
I
enjoy
mean,
complaining. One of the biggest thing that's irritating is like, this guy bought this game for $20. He turned around and sold it for 200. Kudos to him. If that's what people are willing to pay, congratulations. He found a great deal. He can spend that money and go buy some more games, or he can take the money and put it in the savings account, or whatever. But it's like what somebody buys a game for and what they turn around, if they turn around and sell it for, does not affect your life at all. At all. It's the people buying the games
see the big thing was that
that are
one.
affecting the price.
So this one in the Reddit forums for Sega Saturn. I think you guys know I'm big with Saturn. This one guy went to GameStop. Someone tipped him off. Went to GameStop and bought these rare, and I mean stupid rare games for Saturn for $800 total.
No, I thought it
And
was for
they're
like $300 or
stupid rare
$400.
games. No, it was 800 for all. I think it was 800 for like all of them. It wasn't. It was like
I
the
don't think
400
so.
bucks.
I
Well,
have to go back and rewatch the video.
so I would have to. Yeah, I mean, was it in the Sega? Were people complaining about that too in the Sega Discord?
No, no
Because I
one
was
said
kind of curious.
anything about it. Most of the people in the Sega crew
He
they're speedrunners. They're not, as far as I know, there's not very many collectors in there. So I'm in a speedrunning group, and I don't speedrun.
I thought speedrunners. What Roto told me was speedrunning is better on the console itself than through emulation.
They're not collectors. They have flash drives if they're using real hardware.
Got it. Okay.
For the
like
most part,
satiator
I don't
and
think there's that
stuff.
many people in the group that care about real original hardware and all. I know there's some of them are because they have retro tinks and that kind of stuff, but exactly what DW said. People making a profit, good for them. And if you don't like the price of the game, then don't buy it. Pretty simple, really.
So
Yep.
So it was Burning Rangers, and it's a $700 game or something like that, whatever it was. He got it for $99, and it was like $100, and flipped it around for $890. So you made a 700 and almost about an $800 profit off of that game, and people went nuts because the premise is you say that you're for the hobby, you say that you're for the game, you're collecting, preserving. I collect because I preserve and stuff like that.
Most people. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off really quick. Preserving games, bullcrap. For most people, preservation is something they like to tout. It has nothing to do with them. What are you doing to actually preserve the games? People that actually back up the ROMs and their save files, that's preserving the games.
Yeah, that's why I got the Polymega.
Yeah, but you've got the Mister where you can just get ROMs and you can put on it. Preservation of stuff is, for the most part, baloney sausage. It's just something people say to be like, oh yeah, I'm spending all this money because I want to preserve it for who? Most people don't care.
See, I have what I did was I took when I got the Polymega, I took the games, loaded everything on the Polymega, took everything on the Polymega, put all the systems in glass cases, and they're all nice and sealed, and they're not really sealed. Some of them, like the Neo Geo and everything that are more rare, they're in acrylic. Like I have them in like acrylic boxes, so they sit there. I backed up. Oh yeah, like you. And then your hard drive failed. I backed up everything. I put everything on the Polymega, and I was done. So I have one centralized unit in order to play all the games on. Now,
but so does Slippy
I clean the games
in regards
3 times
to the Mister, and he didn't have to spend nearly as much time to get the games on there.
But did he? He didn't back up his games. I think he just put them on the ROM. He just
no. But
did
what's the difference?
The difference is that I physically own the game. Those are my games.
Yeah. And
so that's what I'm saying.
at the end of the
And I
day,
didn't have to go.
it's just two different methods of playing the games. So
It's it's really it's all the same. It's all the same from people that do RA and run RA on RetroArch all the way down to us who collect this stuff. It's the means to the end is that we're all playing the games, we're enjoying the games. And to be 100% honest with you, if it wasn't for retro achievements and that little show that Baron does, I wouldn't look at even half the games to buy because I'm not exposed to newer games and stuff. You know, like when he does his retro achievement stuff and he looks up, there was a game that was completely out of my mind, and it was a game called Penguin Wars for Game Boy. I had that growing up as a kid. I don't have it anymore. I completely forgot about it. Baron was talking about it one time in in his retro achievement show, and I'm like, oh damn, I had this as a kid. So I actively started looking for it because I wanted that game in my collection. Like I was like, oh, I want to play that. You know, that looks great. Let me throw it on my Game Boy and play it and stuff. It's like the same thing with you with the SG 1000. Penguin Wars is a solid game, DW. Um, like you have the
okay,
SG 1000.
so using that example, how long did you wait before you like between finding or remembering about that game because Baron showed it to you? How long before that and you buying it was there?
Uh, After I set up, I'm not gonna get into details with it, but the method to my madness. But I would say there was about maybe a 2.5 week interval of
Okay.
time.
So during that time, were you looking at the prices? You looked at price charting to see what it was going for. Looked at sold
Yes.
listings on eBay, and then you decided, okay, this is about the price I want to pay for it.
Yeah, I was comfortable with about what I got the game for. Yeah, it
Okay,
was like $12 or something.
because like there's people who they learn about the game or remember the game or whatever, and they instantly go out and try to buy it without looking at
It's the
what it had sold for, and see, that's the kind of mentality that can really affect the game prices because you have the yahoos out there who are just throwing the games out there. It's like, oh, I wonder if someone will actually, pay this much for it. Well, they're not paying enough attention to what's going on, and so they overpay for it, and then everybody else wants you to overpay for it, and then people think that okay, well that's the going price now, so I'm just going to pay that instead of being like, move along and go find another game.
those that is clinically defined as impulsivity. So you have impulsive buyers that will go out and just
Oh well, I mean,
buy.
I think everyone gets caught up in impulse buying because you go to the store, you see something like, oh, that's cool, pink. It's not what you went to the store for.
I'll I'll be honest with you. You probably can share. You probably can relate to this. I saw Dino Riders, the T Rex, and it was a complete T Rex for 400. I've been looking at that for about 3 years. I can remember walking into Toys R Us and walking to the back of the store when I was a kid, probably about 6, 7 years old, and there being the T Rex in the box. And I remember holding the box and saying to my mother, "Ooh, like I would really, what this is what I want for Christmas or whatever." And her saying okay, and me not getting the T Rex. Instead, I got the Velociraptor and I got the pterodactyl, and I instinctively remember wanting the T Rex. So I saw that and I was like, "Ooh, 450," and I'm like, and then in my head it was, do I have the room? Do I want to spend 450 on this? Is it worth 450 for me to have a nostalgia feeling of looking at it, saying, "Ooh, look, I finally accomplished something. I got this after how many years?" And then I went and I looked around again and I said, or would I rather whatever and take the 450 and just not spend it and put it away for a rainy day or something else. So whatever the hell it was, and I just didn't. I just I didn't get it because I thought it was stupid. I thought it was just dumb, and I didn't want. I didn't get it.
But he's still thinking about going and getting it.
No, no. I saw it in for $60 2 years ago, and I passed it up as well. It's one of those things that I don't. It's to me, it's not rare enough for 50. I mean, yeah, I wanted it as a kid. It looked
Okay,
pretty
so
cool.
what's the price
It
that you'd be
was
like, okay, I think
whatever it
I'll
was.
go ahead and buy it.
I would if it was like complete. I might shell maybe about $100 on it.
What about
I
110?
was and yeah, I mean about I
What about 120?
saying this. No, no, I wouldn't. I would do 110.
What about
I would do. I would even
115?
go. I would do 110. The shipping would have to be. The shipping would have to be enough. 120 shipped. Let's say that comfortably. 120 shipped.
Okay, what about 121 shipped?
121 ship would be fine, but then probably about 125 and I'd be done.
You
See,
gotta have
he's
your
raising
see,
the
you gotta have your
price.
hard limit.
125 would be about the hard limit for it.
See, but see, you start off at 100, now you're at 125.
Well, it'll be if you factor the tax in for New York, that's already $15 right there, and everything else. So it's like, well, I played with the dinosaur growing up, and then when I lived through that era of Toys R Us, I was nostalgia for playing with my pet T-Rex, and that's why I wanted to buy it as a toy. So that's the real explanation. So for me with the collecting, um, I bought all those expensive games. I've had a lot of those expensive games, and I bought Hagane. I bought, yeah, Crusader. I bought the strategy guide for Crusader, and I bought the manual for Crusader, and I just, like I was sending all those pictures on over Discord, in Scanlines about all those rare games that I had, and I bought them and all the rare Genesis games I have, those I've had since I was a kid. But I bought them, and it was, I guess, I feel stupid to say, hey, I spent like 325 or 400 on Final Fight Guy or this or whatever it is, because I was like so caught up with the collecting. And now that I take a step back and I look at it, I said maybe I should have been more conservative and waited until now when things are starting to cool off even more to get a better bang for your buck. The one thing I did was Magic Night, and Magic Night. My mother threw down the steps, smashed the CD. I had the box, I had the manual, I have the stickers, but the case itself was smashed, and the game itself completely was gone. And that was one of the games I wanted a lot, so I bought the game, and I had to buy an authentic Sega Saturn case to go, with it. So I bought the guy was selling the game and was the case altogether, whatever it was, and I paid about I think it was 300 for the game and the case and all the other stuff, but I put everything together from all the stuff I had. You're right, I would definitely do the stock market, but
Yep.
that's the thing. I mean,
Well, actually, for that, all you need to do
what
is
am I
work
gonna do? What?
for Congress and stuff, and then you can do insider trading and not get in trouble for it.
Exactly,
Because they do
exactly.
better
Like
than
what I've.
Warren Buffett when it comes to the stock market. But back to the collecting and gaming. But see, like early on, like I watched a video by Pac-Man Case, and he's like talking about the different or the phases of collecting. That's what it is. The phases of
Mindsets.
collecting. In phase one, you're just buying stuff because you're like, oh hey, that's cool. I'm probably gonna get the phase. Phase two is you start slowing down, being okay. This is really what I want, and start picking and really and choosing. And then phase three is like, all right, now I'm going to slim down to just what I really want. And you know, we get caught up in phase one, and I did with the Master System, and I was just buying big lots of games when I could. I remember sitting on one, and I was talking back and forth with the guy, trying to get him down, and I think I was looking at like $800, and I forget how many. There was like 40 or 50 games for the Master System or something. There was a good number of games and a system and all that stuff, and thankfully somebody else bought it. But it's easy early on. It's easy to get caught up, and like when you're in the initial stages of collecting, you can get caught up and you can get in trouble, and you can start buying, games that are a lot more expensive than you would normally buy, or paying more for a game than you normally would.
Or Blu-rays.
Yeah, you can do that with anything you collect. I mean, DVDs, LPs,
Yeah,
Lego, action figures, whatever. When you start collecting
frames.
something new, sometimes you get in kind of heavy. And I think I may have actually gone through that with Masters of the Universe when it started getting a little bit more popular, and like I wasn't really collecting pops. I was just picking and choosing what pops I bought. But then when Master of the Universe stuff came out, I jumped on. So all right, well I'm gonna collect the Masters of the Universe line. So I've got several of those, and they just sit up on the shelf, and you can't even see them all, and because I've got them, the smaller ones like too deep. But it's one of the phases of collecting, and so now you go through and start looking at it. Okay, what am I going to get rid of? But like what we're coming into with the 360, I think is there's an influx of people that they're coming in at stage one, whether it's collecting in general for video games or just collecting for the 360, and so they're just jumping on anything. It's like, oh, it's got this one game I want, and I'm just gonna buy it. I don't really care what it's going for. Or you got some relative who doesn't know anything about it, and they just get told, oh hey, so and so wants this game for graduation present, or birthday or whatever, and they're like, okay, and so they buy the game at more than what they should, and it sits there and starts to tick up the price because again, people not paying attention to how much they're buying stuff for, and causes the price to go up.
The worst venue you could probably ever buy a retro game on is Amazon. Amazon is the worst. I would never ever if Price Charting incorporated Amazon, these prices would be astronomical. Ridiculous. Amazon is the worst place. If For those of you who are going to watch the VOD, for those of you in chat now, I beg you not to go and buy a game off of Amazon.
You're talking about
Retro game.
used retro games.
And yes, and Cosmic is correct with the books. I tried to buy this one Godzilla book, and it's like the history of Godzilla or something, and it goes into detail the different series, the different periods of Godzilla, just everything, even up to interviews with like in Toho Studios where they have all the suits lined up. And the book was like over $300 on Amazon, and I found it cheaper on another site for used books. In fact, I found it for close to about $30 on the used. Amazon is the worst for used retro video games and all that.
So, going back with what I was saying before about the people buying it. So the problem isn't Amazon itself. It's people have been trained to think, and they don't think about it anymore, that Amazon gets you the best prices, not realizing when they're buying something that is sold by Amazon or being fulfilled through Amazon or whatever, that it might not be the best price. And so it's the individual people buying books or games or whatever, not doing their due diligence and looking at other places. So they're going to Amazon expecting to get the lowest price like all the time. And because they've got so many third-party vendors that they're setting prices for this old stuff that Amazon doesn't really even care about because they just take their cut, and they're just people aren't paying attention to what they're buying and how much they're spending, and that goes. But that's part of the problem with collecting and people just buying stuff. It's like, oh hey, I saw it here. I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it. And I'm like, well, maybe I should go and look at Walmart, at Target. Maybe I should look up, the title of the game or the book or whatever, and look and see. And okay, now let me go to the shopping tab. It's like, oh wait, it's cheaper over here on Mercari, on eBay, on Shopify. I don't know what some other place where you can buy stuff. Barnes and Nobles
Well,
may have somebody that is selling through Barnes and Noble
right.
and selling it for a good price. So it's uneducated buyers and people that don't care.
DW, I looked. It's completely different, and I looked at a 3DS game. Um, I think it was. Yeah, it was. No, not even. It was a Switch game, and it was the collection for uh the HD remastered collection for Final Fantasy for the Switch that just came out. And I looked on Amazon and the price was ridiculous. I looked up Albert Odyssey, which is like maybe a $200 game complete in box or something. On Amazon, they want $475 for the CD, and they want $900 for the game complete in box. And eBay is 50 to 80% cheaper than Amazon. Amazon is the worst. Amazon is, if you are going to buy anything used, like nostalgia wise or books. I even looked for I wanted something stupid. My friend during COVID built oh, what is it? He built a VHS and DVD thing in his basement during COVID. So he has like you walk in and there's like an awning that says Blockbuster Video, and you go like he'll have like a big TV with like a VHS player on it. He'll have a DVD player that'll be hooked up to the whatever he had, I think was a projector or something. And you can walk into the back, and he has like all the rows of like VHS tapes and DVDs. And I wanted to buy him some stupid Blockbuster cards, to scan or whatever. And like vintage Blockbuster cards, and Amazon wanted $400 for a stack of them, along with like some Blockbuster popcorn buckets. I'm like, are they ridiculous? Just it's so
But again,
stupid.
see, that's not Amazon, most likely. It's a third party seller just using the Amazon interface, basically. But again, they sometimes you pay a premium on Amazon. But like for books, I mean, we looked for some books for my daughter for college, and sometimes Amazon was cheaper. Sometimes they weren't. We looked at multiple places. We looked different multiple ways because we want to try and get the best price. Most people are too lazy and don't care enough to put in the time or effort to go and do it. Like Dita says, you can get a third party plugin to give you rating for people. Um, Amazon has scammers, but eBay does too. I mean, they're everywhere. You've got to do your due diligence. That's why people can call you on the telephone, and all of a sudden they can talk you out of. You need to send me all of your money. Go and buy all of these Google cards and come back and enter them in, and then I will release your bank account.
Do not buy gift cards.
Why? And it's going to get worse now that AI is coming in, and you're going to be able to change your voice so you can sound like a native, whatever country you're calling. Native, first with you can sound like somebody whose English is their first spoken language, and they actually learned it in the United States, and so you'll be able to get all of the tones and all that right through AI. And when that happens, it's going to be really difficult, and senior citizens are going to get into even more trouble.
So we were going through wet. We said about wet. And we were talking about that um
on the 360.
on the 360. Right now on Amazon, Life for Gaming has it for $97 disc only. And complete inbox, the Game Shack has it for $90 complete with instruction manual. And all I did was type in wet Xbox 360 and that was it. And these are the prices that come up.
But
So,
the thing is, people can charge whatever they want. Whether or not someone's going to actually pay.
that's disgusting. Look at
Well,
this.
here's one for.
Magic Knight.
Let's
Deal
see.
buying options for Magic Knight. Magic Knight Authentic Game Disc only. $1,289 for the
See,
disc.
here's wet
Um,
2808.
Life for Gaming, complete authentic game, case manual, game disc, everything included. Good. Life
It's
for
cheaper.
Gaming,
It's
two
cheaper than it is on price trading.
$2,000.
Xbox 360 2808.
Yeah, but what for what?
The wet.
Yeah.
So that's cheaper than price charting. Thing is, just do your homework. Don't buy the first thing you see. Wet gaming. Yeah, don't search wet gaming. Wet. You need to know wet Xbox 360 or wet PlayStation 3. Bought a Panasonic Q on eBay years ago, and I got scammed. Never got your money back. It would be worth close to $1,000 now. Yep, I've had things fall through on
Which is
eBay.
right.
I've also had things where I got refunded my money. And I got to keep the stuff. So eBay's gotten better about it. They've really moved to the buyer's side. But it's the whole thing is pay attention to what you're doing. Games are going to go up and games are going to go down. It's just what happens. It's supply and demand. When demand goes up, the cost goes up. That happens with anything. I mean, PlayStation 5s and Series X's when they first came out, demand was high and supply was low. So what happened?
Oh no. Up there we are.
Scalpers came in and bought them because people are stupid and are willing to pay 2 to 3 times the cost just so they can have it now instead of being patient. So I mean, and so this stuff isn't really all that different. You can wait for something to come to the price that you want it at, but you have to be okay with it never coming to that price. If you're okay with that, then you'll be okay.
Right.
Because particularly any of the stuff that we collect, if it all went away tomorrow, it would suck, but I would be okay.
Yeah, COVID really screwed up a lot of stuff. I mean, right now we're going to be hitting 5 years after COVID. So I think the fallout of the game mindset of the nostalgia should the the fallout should kind of be
I think the
coming
fallout.
down.
I don't think you can blame COVID for stuff. The prices of stuff, particularly with games, and that stuff now. it's been long enough.
No, not now.
Because the thing is, like nostalgia kicked in along with all of the restrictions at like just the right time, and so all that stuff had an uptick. Because it wasn't just games; it was toys, it was comics, it was baseball cards. Because you saw, what was it? Target started moving baseball cards behind a register.
I hope it didn't crash again.
So that because people were fighting over them, like people were waiting for the guy to come with the baseball cards so that they could grab them and take off because um, there was such a demand for them. The demand has dropped for baseball cards. Now, I'm not saying it's not still high, but
I don't know. I think the problem now that we're facing is that people think they have gold because of all the stories that they've heard. They look up videos, they look up this
yep.
2020, 2022, 22. Everyone thinks they have gold, and they're all posting these things up for ridiculous prices. Like, for example, talking to Katsune, he was like, "Oh, this guy got this game for $700 complete in box, which was Zombie Nation. Now he wants $1,500 for it. And the problem with it was the reason why the guy's selling it for 1,500 is because he wants his $700 back and he wants 700 on top of it. Katsuni was like, "Well, how long have you been sitting on the game for?" And the games been sitting there since 2022. 2 years hasn't budged. No one asked for it. Guys, like, people come in. You're the first person that's asked for it in over 2 years that I've had the game. No one cares about it. Perfect example. I'll give you guys the best story. There was this and I think I said it before. There was this lady that she decided over here. Did it freeze? Oh no, it's back. Or did it freeze? Oh no, stream's up again. Okay. So there was this lady that traded in a box of NES games to the local place, game something, a video game trading post, and she traded the games in. And when she traded the games in, the games were she traded in a whole box of NES games. One of the games in the box was Panic Restaurant with um what was it? Panic Restaurant with the manual. Panic Restaurant with the manual is like $1,000.
Frozen. He's really frozen. Okay, so while phrase, well,
And
phrase,
he wanted
you just
$2,200 for
froze
it.
like probably a good 20 seconds.
Oh, I froze?
Yeah. So what Panic
Oh, well, that's
Restaurants? How much?
she he it's a $1,000 game with the manual. He had it up for 2,200.
But that's the thing is same as people on Amazon, people on eBay, any other selling service. You can put something up there for whatever price, but if people aren't willing to pay it,
And it's
you're just going to hold on to it. But sometimes, particularly with stores, they want those games in there because they want people coming in to look at them. They may not actually be trying to sell it. They want people coming in there and looking at it because, like, oh, I have never seen that game. You know, they might want a Hagani or Mega Man 8 on the Saturn or Earthbound in the box, but just to get to people in there and look at it, and then they look around the rest of the
I
store and
wouldn't
might
mind
buy
Earthbound in
something.
the box.
But yeah, the chip issue definitely didn't help console prices. Well, the scalping, but that was because there was it further exacerbated the shortage of the consoles. Like I said, there was shortages when the PS4 launched, the One launched, the Wii when it launched, the Switch got big and started running into that. And I mean, demand is still kind of high for the Switch. Nintendo usually drops the price, and we're still waiting on that. So I mean, there's factors that go into it, but the thing is, like, if no one had been willing to pay the crazy prices, like 2-3 times the cost for going to the store and buying it, the scalpers would have stopped. But people kept buying them because they had to have them now. I mean, I got a Series S last year, the year before, and it had a bunch of sales and stuff going on with it. And I didn't even pay, I paid less than retail. And people, if they're willing to wait, can do that. But we want what we want it now. and we're willing to pay for it.
Mm, that's true. Go look at painkiller. Yeah, for
You just froze again. Well, while he's frozen, yeah, Assassin's Creed complete inbox, $7. The Assassin's Creed games are cheap. There's not a lot with them. I think the first one only had one release, but Assassin's Creed 2, you have this release, then there was this release, Master Assassins Edition, Platinum Hit. So there's three different versions of Assassin's Creed 2. I mean, so $6 other than the where to go? The Master Assassin Edition, which goes for crazy prices. Like, I don't think you're gonna have to worry about Assassin's Creed 2 going up too much in price. I mean, you can look at it. $4, $7, $4, $6.75, $4. It's just sitting there going boop 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 boop, and that's probably all it's gonna do. It's not gonna go crazy just because the price. I mean, there's a high supply for it, so I don't see it ever outpacing, or I don't see demand outpacing the supply because it's a fairly common
yeah,
game.
definitely. No, it's true. You're not gonna see. I mean, Assassin's Creed is it's cheap.
And it most of the games in the series you're going to be able to get them cheap. And that's the thing is like you don't have to follow, you can follow the trend, but don't follow the trend. Like I've been picking up Xbox 360 games over the last year and a half. And now it's going to get to the point where it's like, okay, outside of the really common games, I'm just not going to pick up anything for it unless I really want it. But then it's still, it has to hit $60 or less. If it's not less than 60, if I can't get it for less than $60, and that's $60 shipped, I'll just move on. There's no reason for me to hold on to it and be like, yeah, I'm going to pay $100 for this game that I may or may not get to play. I want it that way. Well, then at Burger King, you can have it your way.
Yeah, Burger King.
But I mean, look, Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection. I think there was actually a platinum hits with this one. Actually, I think I have the platinum hit somewhere around here. Oh, it's right here. And they also did the rebranding for the Family Games label. I mean, that's a game that I think is going to be readily available. You don't really have to worry about the price. But here's another Sega game. That's kind of surprising. It's jumping up there some. But Golden Axe Beast Rider, not that good of a game. It controls roughly. I had some fun with it, but yeah, not a great game. But I mean, that spike is kind of concerning me. But it's done that before and then dropped back down. But all it takes is two people get caught up in a bidding war, and all of a sudden a game that was going for $5 all of a sudden goes for 10 until the sanity calms down and those two people get the game in their collection, and then they're not in the market anymore. Their demand is no longer affecting everything. Looking at one that's jumped big time is Bullet Witch.
I just wait. Bullet Witch jump. Oh, whoa.
Yes, Bullet Witch.
Oh, wow.
Look at that jump. Yep. And I was trying to get it for less than $20. I don't know, the last 6 months or so. And
Is it even a good game?
No, it's not. It controls horribly. I had this and I beat it. I think I either sold it or gave it to a friend. I'm done. I don't think I'm gonna play through it again. And honestly, if I bought it, I'd probably get irritated because like it controls pretty bad.
Can you bring it up like on YouTube and see what it looks like? I've heard it. I think there's a Japanese version Bullet Witch, or some. I mean, that's
But this
Crazy.
is the kind of stuff that happens when it just freeze again because I don't think it's actually searching for it. I think I may have lost it. Oh no, there it is.
That's crazy, Bullet Witch.
It's like I said, it's not a good game. I think I may have killed my computer. Let's close some of these. We talked about Ultimate Alliance.
That's not very good, DW. I think stream was fine
Xbox
for
360 digital
me.
game off the Xbox store. The weird thing is I never added a credit card and I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know how it went through. Maybe you
That seems
had
interesting. Free
decided
game?
it would take your Microsoft points or Xbox points, whatever they call it now, for that game. But not the other
Yeah.
ones.
That could be a lot of people are cashing in points. Bullet Witch. Oh, and then
All right,
yeah,
see if I can-
Tornado Outbreak.
$480.
Tornado Outbreak's another one that's crazy.
So
So this is Bullet Witch. Is this like a
Bullet Witch.
Bayonetta-esque type of game?
So you're carrying around this big gun. Yeah, good job. So you're running over there, running and hitting stuff. Okay, this is still the beginning. Let's skip forward some. It doesn't look that
I know
good.
these are-
And it's got a neat feature. I think like a slow mode. I forget what they call it. Probably witch time or something. But basically bullet
Stuff
time.
like that.
But it's just one of the odd games that people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. But yeah, it doesn't play good.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. It just looks. I mean, it looks alright for the most part.
Let's go forward a little bit.
I don't.
I mean, what really makes a game go crazy in price when that console starts to come into its phase for recollecting? Rarity. Nobody bought it. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, it's like it becomes a meme game. So all of a sudden, a lot of people want it in their collection. So they can say, look, I've got this in my collection. But there's nothing special about this game.
There isn't anything special about the game.
Which, I mean, isn't necessarily a bad game, because you can have a cookie cutter game and have a lot of fun with it.
Right, which is true.
And I keep trying to get a part that might look a little bit more exciting, but you know, we get just this running around. Looks like the enemies are all bullet sponges. And I have to turn my 360 on to see when
At all. This does not look fun.
Maybe put it in the other hard drive. And I'll pull up my profile. See if I can find Bullet
See, when
Witch
you
on
said Bullet Witch, I thought you meant it was like a shmup. And it does not look like a shmup.
No, it's a shooter. There's not a bunch of looting or anything. I mean, between this and Destiny, I mean, it wouldn't even be a competition. Destiny would be so much more fun. Between this and Halo, not even a competition. Halo would be much more fun. Between this
So
and
there's
Space
nothing
40K
distinctive about
Space
the
Marine,
game.
Space Marine is a lot more fun. Looking forward to the second one of those. But okay, yeah, there's Bullet Witch. And so why is that game costing $100 when it's complete in box? Loose, it's $30. It's just
Hey, people know that it's just shitty. God, was it an
yeah.
exclusive? An Xbox exclusive?
I don't remember. It might have been on PC as
Because if
well.
it's an Xbox exclusive, then I can completely see why it's
Well,
going to cost that much money.
Halo is an Xbox exclusive. Why isn't that worth $100 when it's complete in box? Because everyone played it. Yeah, you can buy this on Steam. It's $15 on Steam.
You don't think this was on PC? Oh
So
wow,
Bullet Witch is on PC.
I might have to restart because I am lagging all over the place, as you guys could see.
Seems to be fine now.
Now I'm lagging, you're lagging. Give me 2 minutes, I'll be right back.
Okay. Gonna mess with stuff. I think he froze. So get it for $15 on PC, and then you can play it. Oh, dang! I closed that. Let me go back in. I'll post the link. Why is it not letting me? There you go, Bullet Witch on Steam. How do you want to pay? Pop up. I just clicked on buy and I got the confirmation. Thanks for purchasing. I think I know what happened. I already had the game. It just doesn't say it on the store page. Ah, I could definitely do it. There's probably a good reason for that because I'm not sure it's worth even $15. I might add it to my wish list so I can try and get it. Let me see if I can put my Elgato. All right, now we're trying to find Bullet Witch. Okay. I think I got it somewhat early in my gaming because there it is, 8 of 14 achievements. I think at this time I was still trying to really hunt achievements. Oh, so I just played through on easy.
There we go.
Beat all the stages. I think all of these were you had to beat through, unlock other difficulty modes and stuff. There we go, Sane's back. But oh, hold on, let's go in and look. So May 4th, 2010. So over 14 years ago, I played Bullet Witch, and then I got rid of it.
You never went back to it.
Well, no, like I said, I either gave it or sold it to a friend. There's so many games on here that time would have been much better spent playing those than messing around with that. And I do mean that. A small amount of achievements for a full game release.
What's
remember
what's
Xbox,
your lollipop going for?
Huh?
What's your lollipop going for 360?
misspelled that.
During COVID, complete in box it was $21 for
$42
PS3.
complete in box.
How much?
$42.
Why is it more expensive on PS3 than it is on 360?
Maybe there are more copies of it released for the 360.
You have a Splatterhouse for 360?
Is there a Splatterhouse for it? Oh, yep. 40 and 60.
76 for PS3. Yakuza Dead Souls is 76. And what's really weird is the Arland Atelier trilogy is $90 for PS3, but that's actually going down pretty quick. So I don't know.
Look at
Even
the Spider-Man
Africa
games.
went down.
Loose, $80.
They're ridiculous
Which
right
I don't
now.
understand how you'd know if it came from the art book bundle, but maybe it has a different disc. I don't know. $70 for Web of Shadows, $60 for Walmart, $8 for the limited edition. I'm guessing not very many of those are sold loose. $56 for Shadow Dimensions, $35 for Friend or Foe, $50 for Other Time. And that's all loose prices. Then you get Spider-Man 3, $13.86.
A lot of PS3 games I've noticed spiked in 2020. 2021 to 2020, and then they've been just dipping and starting to like slowly go down.
Well, does it look kind of like this on the 360 front, where it picked up, dipped a bit, then started going back up from there?
I was looking at Puppeteer. It's more of like a line, and then it just goes down and down.
Yeah, it looks like it plateaued in the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, and then April and May it started going back up, and it's been on that trend since. Or Xbox games too, because those are all backwards compatible.
No, you're right.
Yeah, if you get the backwards compatible stuff for cheap, it's a good way to do it. I loved Xbox Live Gold sales, like around Christmas and just other holidays and stuff. They'd have tons of games for $5. I love those sales.
Now the big thing was for PlayStation was a game called Folklore. So Folklore came out, I think, in Mr. Something Ways went and YouTubers posted up about Folklore. This is a great game. Blah blah blah. They really hyped it the hell up. They hyped it up. You can look at the videos because the videos are time dated as well. Between March 2021 and about June of 2021. Um, it was consistently a $30 game. They hyped it up to $80, $90. Like the game just completely went hype because it was in all their YouTube videos. And then the game started, because their YouTube videos started falling out. People were like, all right, whatever. The game now went all the way down to $44. So
Yep, I see that. But is it the YouTuber's fault, or is it the people that got impatient and had to buy it now?
it's not the YouTuber's fault at all. It's the people that were just like, oh wow, like they saw the game being streamed like what I did with The Simpsons, and they're like, oh, this looks great, I'm gonna buy it. Boom, and what
Yep.
happens? They bought it.
And then people were noticing that there was more of them selling, and they started raising the price. And I mean, it would have been interesting to actually been able to go and look at the data from May and April to see how many sold during that time for such a high price, than to have it just start dropping in price so drastically after that.
You could see a drastic change in games. You really want to look at like a serious drastic change in games. Look up the game called Painkiller for PS3.
A
And
what?
this is what I'm thinking. Painkiller for PS3. It's a
Painkiller?
Nordic Painkiller for PS3. It's distinct. You'll know. Yeah, that's it. Hell and Damnation. Take a look at the CIB curve of that. Oh wait, so 360. Look at this. I don't know what happened, but it was some sort of inflated hype in 2021. It was originally like 86 or whatever it is. Now here's the weird
Just say
part
it was
about this.
$100, and now it's dropping down to that price. But it
Oh,
may start ticking back up with renewed interest. But then everyone who wanted to pay that price might already have.
people, I don't even know where it came from because the game was originally in I bought it back in like eight, 18 or 19. No, 18. I think it was like for $30, and I just got rid of it because I thought it was stupid. But it somehow became there was a little bump in it from 50 something over to two from December 2019 and retained all the way up. It was originally the highest price was $400, and then
Yep.
steadily throughout the years the game just went all the way down from 150.
Well, I mean, like I said, all it takes is two people, and if you have more than two people that really want it, all of a sudden you get lots of bidding wars, and the price just goes crazy. What's going on? Eat it up.
Why you bother getting the console version? Yeah, it
Because you just want to have it physically. That's it. But that's why I think like Gen 8 and beyond, outside of the Switch, collecting is going to be dead because you're not going to have. There's so many less releases physically, and I don't know if there's just going to be any nostalgia for the games physically because the upcoming generations are so used to having everything at their fingertips and not actually having anything, you know,
mm-hmm.
own nothing and be happy, that I just don't see there being a big pull for those games, especially since the games aren't even on the discs for the most part. Yeah, all doing
Wow.
well. Digital download to even. Yep. So, like, I don't like. I've picked up some Xbox One games just because, like, what a couple weeks ago, Walmart or a couple months ago, Walmart had several games for $5. So, oh yeah, sure, for $5, I'll buy a physical version of it. But with Game Pass and everything else, outside of, like I said, outside of the Switch, there's not much point in buying physical games for this gen. Although, here's a good example that eat it up. I bought it was
What the hell
$12,
was
but I
that?
bought Sonic Colors Ultimate on the Xbox One. It was a 10 gig download and then an 8 gig update. Sorry, a 10 gig installation from the disc and then an 8 gig update. So,
Never
like,
seen this game
whatever
before,
was
but
on the
okay.
disc to start with got completely revamped. The game was still kind of laggy and buggy at places. It was really frustrating at times. And that's when I think I'm just gonna be like, okay, yeah, I beat it, and I'm ready to let it go. I don't like if I ever talk about going back and playing that game on the Xbox One, somebody shoot me because it's just not good. And I mean, I
Man,
think I picked up a Wii version. Uh, yeah, Sonic Colors
that is
over there, and it was on the Wii U. And it's like, why is the Xbox One version have this huge update and still buggy? It was on two consoles before that, two previous generations before that.
here. If you look at this game, Colt something Saga. I know it's on Xbox 360. Take a look at that,
What was it?
and I guess bring that up
No, what
to
was the game?
clear something Saga. trying to look up how to say the name. But if you look it up,
Cul-de-sac saga.
yeah, that's it.
Cul-de-sac saga. Yep.
Now, if you take a look at this one, right?
Huge spike.
This game this game was originally, now I'm looking at like the 5-year trend of it. This game was originally like a $32 game, 2021, 2022, February 46, March $50. Right? Yes. Yeah, that's it, DW. Now, if you take a look and you look at, March, April, 144. So I went down and I looked at all the prices and price charting. And in 4/21, 2024, the game is sold for $50. Someone decided, hey, I could get $150 for this if I posted up for $150, and bam, they put $150 for it.
Two sold,
And
but did you see two sold on the same day? One for 50, the other one for 150.
right, and that someone must have probably, maybe is that, I guess, um
But
when they said the store was going to close
so,
and it's an Xbox exclusive or whatever. It's a tactical RPG. I was just looking at them now, but it remained the 100. I have now. I pay for price charting, whatever. I mean, it's cheap, but I have the
but
additionals.
saying, did you look at some of these other ones? Look at Cul-de-sac saga, Microsoft Xbox 360, 2008. This one sold for 50. Same exact title, 150. Same exact title, 125. Same exact title, 192.50.
Yeah.
So
So that
when you see
person
the
that was
exact same
like,
title like that, that really makes me think that something was going on. Because
oh, I see what you mean.
how many people are putting commas 2008 and then there was some above it? And so, maybe there was some price fixing. Because here it is again with that same format, comma 2008.
Let me see if this guy's got the same.
Because, I mean, it wouldn't take much for you and a buddy to buy and sell a bunch of these. And
This guy went and probably bought this game. The people that I'm looking at, and he put it with the 360 with the comma. Looks like he just went to a thrift store and bought it because he's taking pictures of it in his car, and he has it for 125. And now I'm gonna look at the
I don't
original
know.
listing of the next one, and it's on the table. 3 completely different. This guy was in Washington,
Rest in peace your
Georgia.
wallet, DW, because now you're going to be buying a bunch of stuff. See, I don't even think most people are going to care about modding it, modding their PS3s. They've got emulators for the PS3 and the 360 now, so which I've downloaded an emulator 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I downloaded a game just to see if it worked, and it worked. I downloaded Bionic Commando, a game I own, and threw it up there, and it ran. There were some graphical issues, but you're supposed to be able to go in and tweak it for some of the particular games and stuff. But my computer is from 2000. It's almost 10 years old from when I bought it, so not much older than the 360, and it could run it. Which, I mean, honestly, consoles are just bastardized PCs, so they're getting less and less bastardized, though. You're muted, saying.
I was drinking, that's why. But you can see, like with impulse buyers, it goes from 150 and just keeps on going up and up. So this one person was like, "Hey, I could sell this for 150." Then this person's like, "Oh, 179. Oh, I'll get 150 for this." And then up and up and up, they go 138, 200, and it just keeps on growing and growing. And then this one thing that was $75 was a bid. So people clearly are just like, "Oh, $75 is what we want to bid for the game or whatever." But now if you look at it, it just keeps on going up and up.
Well, and I'm looking at Transformers War for Cybertron. They have a bunch of this
That's
format on the Transformers War for Cybertron, Microsoft Xbox 360, 2010. And then what comes after it is different, but that seems really hokey. Unless that's something that eBay is pushing. I'm trying to find another game.
it's 105. Yeah, a
Trying to
lot of
find
people
a
are
normal
using that
version of a
format.
game so I can look at it. That's gosh, so many collector's edition, limited edition, so much garbage. See, look at Destiny, $3.
No one's gonna buy Destiny. My friend uses the Destiny stuff as coasters.
Well, there's not much
No one's
point
gonna
in
want
keeping them, so
Destiny.
I'm trying to find one that's got a decent price. Let's see if this one jumped in price. Divinity 2 Dragon Knight. Okay, this one's jumped in price. But you see it's got that same similar format. Game name, console name, comma, year released.
It's they have them all like this too. I'm looking at all of them here, and
They
it's
have it
just
for some of the PlayStation stuff too.
yeah, it's like that for that game, that Saga game we were just talking about. It's the name of the game and then like the comma 2008. It's just seems like people are just cookie cuttering the title and everything into it. They're
Maybe.
not even like wanting to type it out and they're just posting everything up. Another favorable thing, and I think you guys should, know this too, is that when you buy a game off of eBay, look for a game that's in Canada because our dollar thwarts the Canadian dollar. My friend owns VGP up in Canada, and I was talking to him about this, and he just there's this one game, Persona 4, for uh Switch and PS5 limited run, screwed everyone over with that one. It didn't, and that was a fly by night announcement. Thanks, limited run. And for the Persona collectors, like it just flew. It was a fly by night type of thing, and he got in a whole bunch of them, and I think it was he won like $70 Canadian money or something, which equated to our maybe like $45 our money, and it's so much cheaper to buy Canadian retro games and have them come from Canada. The shipping is cheaper, and it's overall cheaper.
I think that's got that gonna be hit and miss because there's people like stuff I've got in my watch list on eBay that's coming from Canada, and it's the shipping is outrageous. It all depends.
Really,
It all depends on the seller because the seller can just jack up the weight or whatever of the item. So, like, I don't see it any cheaper to get shipped from Canada than I do anywhere else. It might be because you're in New York though.
well, yeah,
I'm
it's
much further
closer for me.
south,
Shipping's
so
very close.
it's going to be more expensive to ship it down here to Georgia than it is to New York.
I mean, for the Persona that I want, it's cheaper now. I mean, it's come down. It's originally 150, and I was not paying 150 for Persona 4, especially when I have two ways of playing it on the PS2 and on the Vita. I was paying $104 for it. It's like $88 now, brand new, sealed for the Switch, which I still think is a lot of money for it. So I'm not really gonna whatever. But I mean, this one guy, he wants $220 for it, Canadian money. So if I look up 220 CAD Canadian to US money, it converted it wrong. To USD.
It's got to be an eBay recommended format or something.
It's $161 for American money to get the two games from Canada. MSX stuff, Metroidvania stuff. Yeah, I'm very big into Metroidvania. Not a lot of MSX. Baron Metz, he was in here. Is a lot into MSX.
You don't have to worry about series ending with Nintendo because of that, though, because Nintendo's not buying a bunch of companies.
Japanese stuff too,
I haven't
starting
played
to go
either of
down as
those,
well.
but what was it? Someone did a remake or something of the MSX version of Govelius. That one I kind of wouldn't mind looking into because I really enjoyed the Master System version. Anything Squeenix has, but Squeenix didn't get bought out, did they? They just are going multi-platform and telling Sony you're not the only game in town. Every purchase via your wow. Well, they want to make sure it's you, I guess. I'd say a lot of companies are horribly mismanaged these days. With all the garbage they're pushing and forgetting. Make good stories, good movies, good games. That's priority number one. Oh yeah, and
Squeenix is
don't
not Square Enix.
don't piss off your existing fans and tell them to go someplace else. Take your ball and go home because we don't want you anymore. Good way to kill your franchise.
Wait, Square Enix is not Squeenix. Whatever it is not Square Enix. It is Square Enix.
Squeenix?
Isn't
Yeah,
it Square Enix?
Enix. Squeenix.
Square Enix, yeah.
Yeah. You just shorten it even more.
It's
Squeenix.
I'm horrible. I mean, anything that they've made for SNES, I
Well,
have. I I love that. I love Chrono Trigger. That whole company to me, they could do. I love their stuff. Not that I'm gonna say they can't do wrong, but they're pretty. They're good. They're solid to me. I've been a longtime fan of Square Enix, Atlas,
who cares
and
about
Miss
RPGs?
America. Huh?
Who cares about RPGs? Although,
What? I love RPGs equal life for me.
where is the game?
I mean, you're talking
What are you
about
doing?
Persona. You can tell on the left side of my shoulder over here, I'm obsessed with Persona. But I
Probably.
mean, Persona. Oh wow.
Where is it? I'm pretty sure it's a Squeenix game. What the freak? Why can't I? Where did you go, game? What the heck? It's not over there. Oh, right there.
Oh yeah.
So, a Squeenix game that's not an RPG. And it's a lot of fun to play if you like space shooters. Space sim shooters. Some really cool weaponry in that. Some fun, kind of a Robotech-esque feel to it. So let's see how much that is.
I've never seen that before.
Project. I don't think I can spell Sylpheed. Yeah, see, $15. Great game. And that's with a small spike. Tons of fun, though.
That's another company
Dragon
that's
Quest
hit or
3 is still
miss.
coming.
With 505 games.
I just don't have time anymore for the grind of RPGs.
Oh, I'm playing through. What is it? Eudian? 100 Heroes. I got about 36 hours into that already.
Tentpole games mean stuff like more Final Fantasy VII remakes or more like Final Fantasy 16 both did not do well recently, but they ignored that. It seems like they don't understand the initial investment is insanely high for each remake. Well, I think that's why they're hoping to go multi-platform, because then it opens it up to more people.
They did. They blamed Sony for it. They blamed completely Sony for the 7 remake and everything. But you know what? You
But
you
didn't they
wanted
release
to
the
do
remake
that.
on PC also?
I don't know, but they know. I clearly know they blamed Sony for it. Clearly, Square Enix was like, "Yeah, we're definitely blaming Sony for
Well, if
this."
all of their other games have sold like gangbusters, and then all of a sudden the one for a new system doesn't, I mean, who else are you going to blame?
Yeah,
It's just bad overall.
they just it's crazy. They blamed whatever. Um,
So many of the wrong
so a
things.
lot of
So
the
I didn't
7,
care about any of the remakes for Final Fantasy. I just don't care about Final Fantasy. I've
the
played
seven
some of
R
the
two is
offline or the non-mainline games, but none of the mainline games.
it's hit or miss the 7R because it's either you have the mini games or you have the main game. It's a lot of mini games, but a lot of people are on the fence between oh it's good or oh it's bad, and a lot of people that I've talked to are pissed
Stick
off
with fate. I hate
because
that.
hey, you where the hell did we go? Okay,
I
so
shook one of the windows too much, apparently, and everything minimized. I want to turn that off. I don't know how to turn it off. It's so irritating.
so they gave us a 7 remake in 2020 or whatever. It was the first part, and people were excited over it. We paid, money for it. It was great. Everyone, a lot of people liked it. Then you come around and charge us more money for another remake of Final Fantasy VII,
Oh,
which is the second part. And a lot of people are like, "Hell no, I'm not paying that. That's ridiculous. It's bullshit." And they didn't buy it because they were annoyed. Two separate collector's editions, two separate whatever it was, people just didn't want. And then there was the whole debate: oh, is Cloud going to dress up like a girl? Are we going to take that out? Are we going to do that? There was a huge thing based off of that too, and that's like one of the best parts of Final Fantasy VII because it's funny and people just it.
they're trying.
I don't
They're
know.
they're trying to appease the people that aren't their target audience, which is what a lot of companies have done. Disney being one of them. You forget who your audience is. You all of a sudden you kill Star Wars and Indiana Jones and the Marvel universe, and the list goes on. And Willow.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And Wakanda Forever, from what I heard,
Yeah, I don't
was
care for any of the Marvel movies anymore. The
just
Wolverine and Deadpool team up looks like it could be interesting. Yeah, all their alterations are horrible. They're making changes that nobody wants. The thing is, they're listening to the vocal minority instead of the silent majority, or even the silent ones that are, or the majority who are speaking up. They're just like, no, we're not listening to you. We know what's best, and we're going to give it to you whether you want it or not. So there you go. Have it, eat it, enjoy it.
uh,
Oh.
it's
But I don't know.
weird.
I mean, summing up, prices are going up for 360. They're somewhat of a
Deadpool
decline
always
for other
tries to sell
stuff.
you phones.
Seventh
Yeah.
seventh gen is going up. Um,
Hey, come take us to Mint Mobile. We got all this here and blah blah blah. Yeah,
NES is going
Mint
down.
Mobile. What's going down?
NES
Yeah, we'll
May it
see
peaked,
that.
and it already dropped. Average price dropped about $4.
We'll see that go down more.
Oh, that wasn't even all of it. It dropped down $41 since. So in a year, the average price has dropped. Oh, almost $5. Wow.
That's big.
Sell you phones. Are you
Yep,
sure that
Mint
isn't the Green
Mobile.
Lantern? Oh.
Take a look at Genesis. Genesis is another one that just plummet.
Well, it looks like it also had an uptick, but that might be, like I was saying, it's going to come down, and the prices are going to get good, and people are going to buy them again. And it's going to go doop, 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 doop.
What's crazy too is if you look at the Master System, Buster Douglas, the complete in box for Buster Douglas, you can
The Master System's dropped a good bit.
yeah, Master System's dropped. I'm surprised.
It wasn't a popular system, and it never really got popular, so
Buster Douglas went.
it took a big hit from 1,200 to 1050. But 5 sales a year, as opposed to a lot of the ones that we looked at were a sale a day.
Mm. And yeah, you're right. Eat it. They could just go out and buy tons of them. I mean, that's why we had the graded game craze of WADA, and now graded games are just.
But the thing is, like, if nobody bought into it, it wouldn't have done anything. But people buy into the hype, and they give
Look
into
at that.
FOMO.
$7,000 graded one sale per year. Some poor bastard takes their tax return and burns it on a $7,000 graded game to sit in a
Yep.
plastic coffin.
But I mean, we think it's crazy the way some people spend their money. That's just what it is. It's but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Now
why.
that you bring
That's
that
why I
up.
think it's important. You need to have a max you're willing to pay for this stuff, and realize that it's not always worth what people are asking for it.
The loose price of Earthbound, one sale per day, keeping it consistent at $350. This game, 2 sales a week for complete, making it $1,800. You mean to tell me there's people out there buying this game at $1,800 twice a week? Two different people, company, whatever it is, hedge fund children, buying this at 18. That is
People in their money, if
insane.
they can figure out how to make more money from it, they might give it a shot.
I At 523 it just sold for Earthbound eludes me. Earthbound pisses me the hell off, but Earthbound I don't.
But hey,
There's a
it's got such hype built up around the game, whether it's deserved or not. I don't care. I have no interest in buying it. Even if I could get it, well, if I could get a complete inbox version for $60, I would buy it and I would turn around and flip it. In a
yeah.
heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I don't give two squats about that game. Most of the RPGs for the Super Nintendo, I don't care about. They have
Chrono Trigger's holding
like
it
I just
too.
have no desire to hunt them down or anything. If I stumble upon them and got them for a great deal, great. I'll turn around and sell them. I'd be a dirty reseller. But I just like for all of the PlayStation stuff, I don't care. It doesn't if the prices go up for any of the Sony systems, if they go down, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me at all because I don't collect for them.
Well, Chrono Trigger had
Yeah, they'll be on sale till it closes.
17 complete in
So they'll
box games already sold this month of May.
yeah, sadly it's pretty much the same thing with the Final Fantasy games. They don't matter to me. I'm glad people enjoy them, but like I played Crystal Chronicles and I played Mystic Quest. Neither one are traditional Final Fantasy games. I had fun
Yeah,
with them.
Crystal
I enjoyed
Chronicles
those. I care
definitely
about those
not.
a little bit, but mainline I don't care. And that's the Final Fantasy.
Oh, Devil's Third 4. It was the hype for the Wii U in
Is
2020.
the worst.
500.
I played it with a buddy using the Game Boy Advance link, and we had so much fun with it. We had
Devil's
so much
Third.
fun with it. Just it was irritating having to carry that stupid chalice around. Urgh.
Wait, Devil's Third?
Huh?
What game were you?
Final
Oh,
Fantasy
Crystal
Crystal Chronicles.
Chronicles. Yeah, I was looking up Wii U stuff. Wii U has gone down a lot.
I don't know. Say maybe you can answer this for me. Like people are so worried about what it's costing. Does that mean that they're in it for the financial aspect or for the actual collecting and gaming aspect? Wow, we were five.
If you're collecting now, you're not in it for financial anything at all
No. Oh,
because you clearly see this crap's going down. There's a lot of stuff that's going down.
yeah,
So
but that
you're
just means people will start looking at it and be like, "Oh, hey, it was this price. It's this price." If it gets to here, it's gonna start looking like the stock market. Buy low, sell high.
I think the people the people that have the games or that had the games for 8-bit have already collected them. They've had them, they're done, they're over with. Um I just think now, like I said, it's the fallout of people that have bought those games back in 2020, 2021 that it's expensive and now they want to drop them, start getting what they got back for them. And that's why you're going to have the high price games is high priced, but everything else. I mean, you look at Elemental Hero. I've wanted Elemental Hero for a while. I'm Elemental Master. I mean,
Oh, on the
for
Genesis.
Genesis, and it went up to like something. And all the Genesis games I buy complete, and now it's starting to go down to like 284, and it was originally like 300 something dollars. Just
What?
a lot. Like I don't think people I don't think people are going to be buying games as really an investment anymore like they were doing it in 2020 and 2021. I don't think people have the money right now to do it as an investment. And when it comes down to it, I think a lot of people are like, hey, do I want to invest in video games or do I want to put food on the table and, you know, send my kid, start my kid for a college fund or, you know, do I want to do this? With the price of groceries went up again.
Well, they're
So
gonna.
all of the
Gas goes up, everything else is going up because you got to
I
get
mean,
gas to get it to the market.
everything. This is what it is, and I kind of feel like another. And I was listening into Wes and that guy who I watch on YouTube a lot, and they were talking about it, and they brought up a very good point. Wes said, well, you got to look at it this way. If you have these games, yeah, buying I'm buying PS3 games, dude.
Buying them digitally as an investment.
Yes, well, and he made a lot of sense. He said like, hey, listen, you're gonna have these people that are seeing these prices that were in 2020, 2021, and you're seeing these people that are like, oh, wait a minute, my family wants to go on a trip because it's the summer, or my family, or I want to. It's becoming too much to have food on to put food on the table, or it's too much to gas up two cars in the house, or I have to get it. One guy I spoke to, who I bought Troubleshooter from, he was like, he $225 back in 2023. You want to know why he sold it for? I think it was like two something, 220, I think it was, or it was around like 200 something. His thing was, I have to sell this for the price it is, and I am sorry because I have to put oil in my. I have to pay for the oil for my house, and that's why he sold the game. You're gonna get these people that are two types of people: the people that are butthurt that they made the investment in 2020, 2021, and 2022, and they were sitting on gold. They were sitting waiting for this kingdom that this fantasized kingdom that they had to, sell it for tons of money. And then now they're not seeing this ton of money and they're panicking, trying to offload, floating, keeping the prices floating until they, and then you have the other people that are trying to, that have these games, for either collectors, or they have them in a buyout or a garage or whatever it is, and they're trying to just put either food on the table, pay for a car payment, um,
Or they're
buy
just
something like this, buy
tired
some.
of having it
This is,
around.
huh?
There's all kinds of reasons. They could just be tired from having it around. Also, it's like it's taking up too much space. It's like, or for a collection, I mean. But there's also, okay, I've got this little box that's worth $500 or whatever. I
Why
could
sit it
take
on the
that and go
shelf?
buy a bunch of other stuff. And
Yeah,
I've either played the game or I've showed it off enough or whatever. They're ready to let it go. Especially if the prices start coming down. Like, oh, well, now's the time to sell. If I want to get it again, I can. And maybe it'll be cheaper.
I think the ships are going down, and I feel a lot of these people that were on the ship for the retro are jumping ship.
Oh, there's definitely people that were they're riding the wave, the hype wave. So they're moving on to the next thing. Well, I'm gonna
And I
sell this
think
stuff so I can
that's
get 360 PS3 Wii or whatever.
and I think that's what it is. And I think the people that have like Hagani and all these other high price games are trying to get them sold for what they are, and it's just they're starting to, I mean, and then that's basically what it is. And plus you also have a lot of um buyer's remorse, tons of buyer's
When you're in
remorse,
that
and that
stage one collecting and you buy too much or too
and
much.
that's exactly, and I think a lot of these people, from what I know, from when I called up my friend who has the store, the guy sold his NES collection. He had, I think, bought about 80 games, 90 games, and he's like, you know how many Mario 3s I have in the store right now? I have them priced at $2.50 because I have 42 Mario 3s in the store right now. 56 Mario 2s. Just how many zappers do I have? He's like, I'm giving out zappers with the things cut off to kids because I just don't, and I think it's a lot, and I think that once once we see groceries come down, once we see gas come down, once we see the economy start to even its now I'm not an economist at all, but I feel that once we kind of start to see the economy settle in, and it's not like 425 for gas over here where I am, then once we start to see all of this kind of settle down, people won't feel so, oh, I have to sell this to get the money to put this on the table or to do this for the car or to go, like I told you, the guy sold his whole Nintendo collection to pay for his family to go to Disney World. And when I was like, well, how much, if you don't mind me asking, how much would it be for two people, two people and two kids for Disney World or whatever? And the store guy, he said to me, he's like, well, I took everything in and gave the guy 4 grand. And the guy was complaining that 4 grand wasn't even enough to go to Disney World.
Disney World's overpriced and people are silly enough to keep going. But same with video games.
I think we're going to see 2024 towards the end of of this year,
It
4 years
it
out.
all
I
depends on what
think,
happens in November.
yep, and I think 2025, if we get that pipeline going and gas prices drop and everything, I think a lot there's not going to be the need for I have to sell this for a higher price. I have to sell this because I have to put gas in my car, and that's like a small portion of the pie. Still,
Basically, it's the amount of disposable income that people have. If they don't have any, or if they're running in the red, what's one of the first things that can go? Collectibles. What's one? And what do you
and
cut
what?
out? You cut out streaming services. You cut out going to the movies. You cut out going out to eat. Because going out to eat is crazy expensive now.
Yeah, it's yeah, yeah. I mean, and Wes, like I said, Wes said it best because you have the you had now the people that are selling all these games now are the people that had the high priced that had the disposable income when we were getting all our stimulus checks and everything. They thought that buying video games was a good investment, comics was a good investment, baseball cards was a good investment. So they were buying things that they knew there was a high hit for nostalgia. People bought all the games, they bought everything like that. Now what we're seeing is what you're going to be left over with is the YouTubers trying to hype everything up because now they know that they're not going to be the main focal point anymore like they were for 2020 to 2024 or 2023 because they're not relevant with all the retro stuff,
Well, that's why they just change to whatever is the most
which is
relevant thing.
PS3 and Xbox
Like
360.
I don't think they set out trying to hype anything up. It's just like this is the trend that we
They
see
were doing
coming.
what they were doing.
They're just they're doing what they're doing to get views, which is what they do. So
Plus,
that's just their job.
I think retro is a very niche market,
Oh, it is.
and it's very strictly niche. Um, my friend who lives in Osaka sent me a message this morning, and I read it, and he said that a lot of the Japanese stores that are there are starting to put a limit on 2 games per customer, um, and that's it because now they're seeing these, like, let's say you, myself, and DW. I build the website. You and DW become the sellers. You become the buyers. So you and DW go out. You hit, Osaka. He hits um um Shibuya or somewhere else, and you guys come back with the games. You come back with the games. I take them, scan them or whatever, like what they are on price charting, and I charge $80 or $40, $50 more, and then I ship them off to America, and they're these wholesaler whatever consolidation sites coming up all over the place that are doing this that aren't even brick and mortar. It's some guy sitting behind a computer just taking all the orders and shipping them out, offering free shipping during these periods of time. And the Japanese market, which is the strong market for retro, is starting to dwindle, and they're having a huge problem with that. You can notice that if you look on the 360 stuff for Japan, it's starting to go down because people are just they're like, yo, we're done with this. Like we don't want Americans coming in and destroying our market.
Well, it's but again, it's all economics. It's supply and demand. There's a demand and there's a supply there, so they're
Yep.
gonna. But the thing is, why aren't the stores in Japan raising their prices?
The stores in Japan want to keep retro. From what he told me, they want to keep retro affordable for people. They want to keep it where if a guy wants to go in and buy a retro game, you buy the retro game, you play it. They want to have it where that was always the traditional market of Japan. Nintendo, the Famicom systems.
Yeah,
If
but
I
are
go
you
to
telling
book
me that there's not games that are $5, $10 or less for those systems? Yeah, there are, and there will probably always be cheap, affordable games that are even good for those systems. So that seems like a strange move to make.
they're not they want to keep it more friendly like that, and then people from the United States don't know what they have for Famicom, for Super Famicom, and like you hear Neo Geo CD, so people just raise up the price. Neo Geo, they raise up the price. PC Engine is the hottest thing right now currently in Japan. People are buying up the Japanese PC Engine games like crazy. and it's just, I don't know.
I mean, it's their stuff and they can do what they want with it. If they want to restrict access, and what you can buy, if that works for them, more power to them.
It's not it's not a big hype in Japan. You don't have that big hype of, oh, I have to have this as a symbol of this or that.
You mean they're
It's
okay
not.
with being patient and waiting for something?
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, yeah. If you look at Famicom, it didn't. It never surged out of control. Really, it only went up like from $19, like $15. It went up. The most was like 20, 25, and then it dropped back down to 22.
Yeah, but in 2021 it was $15 average, and then $23 now.
That's when the that's when the American market caught on that, hey, I could buy the same game on a
Uh,
Famicom and boop,
it was the
that's
same time, but that was the same spike that for like everywhere, and then it just kept going up a little
2020.
bit, and now it's kind of evening out. But the thing is, and it's not. Most people don't care about every Famicom game in the United States. They're trying to get specific ones. Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom, because
Huh.
the Famicom cart is actually. Let's see if we can find it. So much cheaper. Tomato. I spelled tomato.
Shooters, and plus Japanese people, like in Japan itself, shooters are money. Shmups are just
Okay, what
shmups
is
are
the name for
shmups.
Princess Tomato and the Salad
I have no
Kingdom
idea.
for the Famicom?
I don't know.
Anybody know? Let's see if I can get it.
Their complete in box Famicom games are expensive.
Because I mean, I remember watching videos from I think it was John Riggs talking about some Japanese or some Famicom games. So I've got a dozen, 2 dozen Famicom games. Because like, oh, that one sounds cool, and then what was it YY World 2? Um, I picked up Princess Salad and Tomato Kingdom. Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Tomato. So I'm guessing it's this one. Salad no Kuni no Tomato Hime.
Probably. Mostly text.
Wow, for a while it was about the same, loose and complete. See, I mean, it didn't jump a ton,
Yo, look at
except
that.
for complete and box in
Jesus.
the last few months went crazy. But the thing is, it seems like an interesting move when instead they could offer the games to United States sellers and make the money off of them and charge the crazy prices, and stupid Americans will pay anything.
Wow.
But I don't know.
Turbo
That's
was
but
always
that's the problem with
expensive.
collecting in general is people looking at something and be like, "Oh, I've got to have that now." Not seeing if it's a good deal, not knowing if it's a good deal, and just being impatient and just paying it instead of waiting.
When did Turbo become so much? Turbo went for December of 2019, $64 average, up to 2022 of 147, and now it's like 115.
Wow.
Turbo's going down for Japan too. See,
Well,
that's more, if you compare the market from Japan average to America, it's a healthier market. There's no extreme fluctuations like you see within America.
I mean, there's jumps though.
Yeah, but not like jumps like you would see in our market.
But see,
it
this is showing
you got
you
it. It's blocking
sales
your
from eBay.
photos.
This
Your
is eBay
pictures blocking
sales.
the thing.
But I would say the people like in the US using eBay, there's less of them looking for Japanese games than they are looking for the English versions.
And you're gonna notice the shmups are always on the top.
I really think I'm gonna have to sell Kadash. Gosh, $80 for it loose. That's just ridiculous. I might sell most of
It
my TurboGrafx stuff.
turbo stuff's just
Text adventure
the
games.
system.
Yeah, you might need
The
to
system alone is. Yeah,
know some
you're right.
Japanese to play
PC's
that
where
one.
it's at always. I bought a ton. I bought a ton of PCECD games. Um, way back in the day. Eat it up. I mean, I'm talking about Sapphire, Rennie Blaster, Sypha, Facet Armor, Kazakiri Ninja Action. Like, I still have them sealed, except for Sapphire. But I,
Wow.
I never. I still have Rondo to this day sealed, not touched, not even a crinkle in the
Sell it. Take
game.
your
Like,
family to
because
Disney World.
I would love to know how much. Would love to know how much that would be sealed.
You
I
want
can see
one?
it sitting here. It's in my. I would never sell it though because I'm a very big Castlevania collector. I have all
Yeah, but
three
you
of
could sell
the
the
NES
sealed
games
one and
sealed.
buy a complete box one and come out ahead.
Yeah,
Castlevania
you're
X
right
Rondo
in.
of Blood,
Yeah, the I have both. That's it.
575
That's it.
new.
I have it sealed.
Yeah,
So it's
575.
$500 now.
So you could sell it for 500, buy it for $280 complete in box, and then see you still have the game, and you could play it, and you'd have an extra $220.
You're right. It's like 287. I bought the game. Eat it up. When my friend was closing his store in Brooklyn, his import store, um, I think I bought it for $15, and that was being gracious because of all the business I gave him. Dude, I had stacks of VHSs like this of Escaflowne, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, the movies for Dragon Ball Z, tons of Japanese Saturn games and whatnot. I I mean, you could look up. I don't even know how you got to the CD version of that, but
I went
other
to
platforms.
TurboGrafx
Oh,
CD and then went to
JPC.
Japan.
See,
But there's
I had.
Choaniki for the 80s, bros.
Huh.
$60 for that one loose.
See,
That's just
this one makes no sense either because Sapphire completes 2,000, but new is 1,000. I don't get that.
yeah, I don't know.
Sypha is 1,000. I have Sypha. I have Rennie Blaster too.
So
Kazakiri, I was playing that.
game
Steam
prices are
Hearts.
crazy. Shop responsibly.
PC CD is crazy.
No game is
PC
worth what
Engine
some of these people
CD.
are asking for.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh, Nexer's a good
yeah, I
shooter.
just don't
Raisin Bird 2.
like.
Godzilla's
I've
another
got
one I got.
no nostalgia for the TurboGrafx, so
This
I might sell some of my games just because they're going for so much, and then just buy a flash cart. Oh,
but like I said, I bought my turbo stuff years ago. Terraforming I bought. I think it was Thanksgiving Day. I I bought that at some point. Um I mean, there was that Matt Hellfire as another story I just bought. Uh Rain Zamber 2 and 3 was when his store was closing. I have a complete collection of Valis games for PC, and yeah, I never like all the Valis games like come like clean, Psychic Storm Zero. I just because I didn't I didn't think, I was like, oh, and I didn't get the system, the PC Engine Duo system until 5, 6 years ago. But I had the games. The games were opened or whatever because that's the way he sold them to me. Because he rented them. He was, he would rent you the system, rent the games, and then come back. But whatever. Like when he says, "Oh, I'm going out of business," I would rent the system and rent a bunch of games. Cost me like what, maybe $40 for 5 days or something to rent the system and the games back then.
I
And
don't
I
remember. I
loved
never
them, so
rented
I
a
bought all of
system.
them off him. He was a good guy, and it was a really good store. It's really sad to see him go too. Like once in a while, when I go back to Brooklyn, I pass by where the store was, and now it's like some sort of what is it, Five Below. I'm like, you gotta
Oh,
be kidding!
jeez.
It's just
Yeah, that's
disgusts
a bit
me.
of
But
a gut punch.
but you grow up with this. Like I have a lot of nostalgia for PC CD games.
This should not be under Master System.
King's
Legend of
Quest.
Illusion was not a U.S. release.
Wow, complete one sale per year. Oh, 2020. That's
Neither was the
why
Sega
it
Master
was
System
one.
Double Pack. They need to do something different with Homebrew. Well, it messes with the results.
And Sapphire is hard too because you have the PC Engine, I think, and you have the PCE
Where's that going?
Works system.
They
You're
moved.
better off that way. Eat it up.
I was pulling home, but no
You have
space.
this.
Oh, the dilemma. Space is the
Yeah.
final frontier. Yeah, with the
Yes, it
analog
is.
consoles, you get a flash cart, and then you get the best of most worlds, excluding 3D games and light gun games. Uh, looking for something. They had the do I have it not showing the consoles? Shows variants include hardware. No, include hardware.
You have disposable income, but no space. I have
Okay.
no space. I was even pushing. I was even looking at collector's editions, DW, because collector's editions, I was telling OWAs are cheap for for a PS3, and I have like literally no space for a collector's edition at all. I mean, I have my kids' boxes of Pokemon cards, and I have a storage unit, but it's all Christmas stuff and everything else that's all in there. So
All right.
I
So this is something I'm looking at
um,
SG-1000 systems. So complete.
$14.
Look at champion boxing. So it's got a game included in the console results. So that's kind of messed up. So you report it. Loose. Like all of these. Okay, except for a couple of them are games, not for the actual system. So report, 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 report. That's not even the same thing. Report. There we go. Okay. Mister plays everything from Atari to Saturn now, so that is a very good. Yep. Oh, you got the Mister, you got the Polymega, and they've got flash carts that you can sit there and just put the individual games on the flash cart, plug it in, install the game.
Yeah,
So
but even those are getting sold out.
there's ways, but they'll come back in stock. I mean, there's a controller. That is not a Mark III. You got to pay attention. to the results in price charting. Price charting is good to get a quick reference point, but you really need to look at the results.
Yeah, but those systems are so obscure. I mean, Polymega is horrible in comparison. I have the Polymega because I have a larger collection of games, and the Polymega screwed me over with the sense that if I have the background music on, I can't load the games because the Polymega just it crashes, so I have to turn that off. Yeah, it's hardware. It is hardware hidden emulators. I mean, they fine tune the emulators so well that you don't even know you're not playing on the system. But um, the Mister is the Mister's FPG, which is way better than the Polymega.
Yeah, it's what the Polymega was supposed to be, FPGA,
Right.
but I think cost and a bunch of other things. They're like, okay, either we can make an FPGA and delay it even longer, or they decided just let's go ahead and release it. I think they decided to go ahead and release it.
Sega Mega Jet's $470.
DW, are you going to install any of the games that you get? Oh,
Is he physically
because
buying them, or is he just
like here is a lot that I got in last weekend of 360 games. I mean, nothing crazy in here. The most expensive game is probably $10, but a couple of the games did not install. Well, one of them I didn't even try. Well, I think they were also that was during the shipment and chip issues, so they were so far down the line because the other guys were paying more, so they had to do something different. But this game, Sims 3, there you go. You can see at the top left the crack right there. It's actually missing part of the disc. I don't know if I can get it to show up on screen, but right below. Dang it! It is. There's a lot. There's a crack running down the disc. So crack does not show up well on the screen. Let me see if I flex it some. You can kind of see it's warping weird. There you go. You can see it right there. So that one didn't even get put into install because the game won't install, which these two didn't. They might need to be resurfaced. So Elder Scrolls 4 Shivering Isles and Call of Duty Black Ops.
Elder Scrolls is a nice game. Wow.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I was like, there's no way I'm even gonna try and put that in the system. It spins up, and goes.
This...
No, thank you.
What happened? What happened to the CDX? When did this become a hot commodity?
People got tired of all the other stuff. I mean, everything has gone in phases. I mean, even the Master System had its moment.
$400 for the CDX. $1,800 complete in box. Is the CDX?
Wars, they emailed me to say it was damaged in storage, so I asked them to send photos just to see if it's worth it still, getting it at a reduced price. Yeah, what kind of damage? Is it scratched or is it cracked? Is it missing parts of the disc? If you hold it up to the light, does it have a bunch of pinholes?
That's it.
Yeah, what the CDX? What is?
What the? Oh, well, this is modded. This is a modded Dreamcast. I was supposed to say 340 for a Dreamcast. This is a little bit ridiculous.
All right, what is the
I don't
CDX?
even want to look. I don't even want to look at Saturn. If I look at Saturn, you'll see me with a handprint across my face. I'm Friday stream. I'm bad with Saturn. Street Fighter Zero with the expansion pack 4 bids. I was looking at that.
You got a Saturn with the
The
mode.
CDX.
I
I
got him
love
a
Saturn.
satiator. Oh wait, do you mean the Sega CDX? The little
Yeah, the
Walkman
Sega
looking thing?
CDX. Yeah, the like with the Philips, like a Philips Walkman.
Yeah, that's another system, Sega system that I need, but yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that.
Here she
See,
is.
look at even Skylander
Turning ranges.
figures going up in price.
They're expensive. Ooh, wow.
Some of them
For
are, some of them
what
are
is this?
crazy expensive, but most of them aren't.
You got the Saturn with a mod. What type of mod
No,
are you looking?
mode.
Did you
It's an ODE
mode?
mode. There's a mode with it, the Phoebe, the Fenrir. I got a
The Fenrir
satiator,
is
so I
pretty
didn't have to do
cool.
anything with my Saturn. I can just plug it in and
I
go.
wouldn't. The Fenrir is the Fenrir is working on. You're working on a very thin line of trashing the system or actually getting it to work. Unless if you don't know what you're doing.
Well,
I wouldn't. I mean, I looked
the
at the
Fenrir
Fenrir and
and the Phoebe are different versions of the Saturn board. So yeah, you better know what board you've got.
what board you're. Yeah, the new one that came out, that thing, SOO something.
Oh, the one no, it's still in the works. The one that you put in the memory slot, you can use it like an ODE.
It's out. It's the Saturn HD loader. It's the Saru SS EverDrive or something.
Yeah,
It's
it's
got
still in
the
the works.
1M and the 4M RAM.
Yeah, it's not.
You put
They're still working on it, but it's going to be a pretty cool thing when they get it finished up.
this guy selling them from South
But we've been going for
Carolina.
almost 2.5 hours.
Oh wow, yeah,
I
because
think
we
we've
could
gone
just
back
talk
and
about
forth on
this
the
till
topic, but prices are going up for
the end
seventh
of time.
gen. Everything else, we're talking about average and median. Those prices tend to be or seem to be trending down. Seventh gen is popular. The other stuff is waning. Really quick, let's look at GameCube used to be popular. I believe that's tapering off as well. Yeah, you can see
GameCube's gonna take a while to come down.
that it's. You see, it came down for a little bit and then it popped back up. So, you know, I wish there was a way to like, exclude all of the games that are crazy price, that are over, $300, which would be only a handful of games compared to the rest of the library. Mode stands for multi ODE. It can work on the Dreamcast, Saturn, and PS1. That's right. Use hard drives, flash drives, and SD cards.
GameCube Japan went up.
Forgot about that. That works for all kinds of things, depending on how you install it. But yeah, things are trending down for, we'll say, fifth generation and back. Actually, you know what? I want to look at now. Let's look at the Atari 2600. It's actually
That went
kind
up.
of trending up, but I think generations 1 through 6, or at least 1 through 5, are just going to start doing that, riding the roller coaster snake, going up and then going down, and going up and going down. 3DS, mod is a bit nuts. I may send it off somebody for the $200 capture card mod. Or just wait and see if
Oh
you can
yeah,
find one that's already modded. It does. That's why I wish there was some solution to that, like the Game Boy Player or the Super Game Boy that they had for the Super Nintendo,
Uh,
because then you can use with an actual full size controller instead of doing this. Even the Game Gear gets tiresome, and that one's a little bit more sizable. Yeah, and I just don't like playing on handhelds in general. I like playing on a TV. If I'm out and about, I'm out and about. Bad enough I got my phone with me all the time.
but it is pretty cool. I mean, when you look at the 3DS to do that, I mean, my friend modded his 3DS and put tons of games on him, and apparently the Virtual Boy works flawlessly on the 3DS with the split screen like that. So, showed me pictures of it. It looks great.
Yep. But yeah, I think again just to wrap things up, we're gonna hopefully quit getting distracted by. Oh wait, what about this console? What about this console? Gens 1 through 5 are cooling off, slightly tapering down. It looks like Gen 6 is somewhere in the middle at the moment, and Gen 7 is heating up. It's not on fire though. But as with anything, shop responsibly, pay attention, learn about what you're getting into, what you're buying, what you're paying, and don't get taken in by FOMO, because there's plenty of other games to play, and if all you're going to do is collect them, so you can put it on a wall, do you actually need the game? Why not just have the empty box? Something to think about. But appreciate
I
everyone
think he's the
stopping
only.
in.
Yeah, I think eat 'em up. You're like the only other person I've ever heard out of my travels and Twitch that has said that. Because I have Virtual Boy box and everything. I bought a ton of Virtual Boy games when they were like shit cheap. I bought I still have the box for Jack Bros, Teleboxer, Red Alert, and Mario Tennis. So yeah, that's crazy.
Well,
Oh, and Waterworld, which is a really horrible game. So, but yeah, all right.
yep.
I guess we're ready to.
It's time to call it a night. Appreciate everyone stopping in. Eat it up. Thanks for hanging out and chatting. DW. I think we bored everyone else away.
Yeah, I think so too. So,
Have a good night, guys.
let's
We'll catch
see.
you all later. Nope, Cosmic and Baron are still here.
Yep. Hey
Later.
guys. Yeah, sweet.
Nerds. Have a good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Bye bye.